Got my mic? Yeah, I think we're ready to go. All right, welcome if anybody's even here yet. Oh, no, I don't know. If you haven't been watching me do this last couple days, it's super low key, casual. I'm just working and you're watching and talking about things. Feel free to ask me questions. I've got my eyes on the comments, and I'll do Q&A with me whenever you want. I've been watching back some of my stuff. And I've got this like itch right here on my nose that's been bugging me lately. I go like this all the time and it looks like I'm picking my nose and I'm not. It's so gross looking though. So anyway, forgive me for looking like I'm picking a winner. Anyway, so earlier today I got the remix docs running on Fly. Fly. Pretty cool. Worked out my bin script and my path, and everything should be good now. So anyway, what I'm going to do now is if I come here in the network tab, we're gonna mess around with Fastly in the CDN. So if I request this page again, you can see here I've got some cache control headers here. And I've got this max age 3600, that's an hour. Here, let's actually make a request and watch this. Now I click on installing remix. So this request comes through and this one says, yeah, cache this in the browser for an hour. So now watch. If I click back and let's clear this out and then I click forward to where we just were, it's instant. That's because, oh, we can see it right there. It came from the disk cache. Bop. So the browser didn't take off over to my server. My lighting's kind of bad, huh? I said this in the last one. I've got like some good lighting equipment and stuff, but it's all in storage. But yeah, it didn't really help. So anyway, it came from the disk cache. It didn't have to go all the way to this server. The browser just stored it right here on my computer, and just pulled it from the disk. So now for the next hour, anytime I click on this link, these two links, I'm not touching my server at all. What's cool about this is I didn't write any application code to do this. This is just built into browsers. If you send this cache header, maxage 3600, in a response, the browser is just going to cache it. So my code is naive and it just keeps saying, oh yeah, go fetch this, fetch this, fetch this, fetch this. There are cool libraries, Apollo, Urkel, React Query, use SWR. There's really cool libraries out there that do caching and fetching and that kind of stuff. And they have their own built-in cache into the into JavaScript memory. But Remix is, and it's, there are trade-offs always. Remix is just really focused on fundamental features of the web and browsers, and URLs plus cache headers are one of those very fundamental things. So instead of coming up, we actually had our own little JavaScript cache for your route data too, but instead of coming up with our own, instead of keeping that, we were like, why don't we just use the browser's cache and focus on URLs? And so this URL now is cached for my browser. So the second thing, it's the Seinfeld pic. Oh my gosh. Yeah. Oh crap, my brother's here. Anyway, and then we've got the S max age 86400. So this says, honestly, what does the S stand for? Surrogate. I'm going to guess it's for surrogate. The surrogate max age is 86400. So I'm saying if I had a CDN, which I don't yet, I'm telling the CDN, cache this thing for a whole day. Yeah, that's a day, not a week. So cache this thing for the entire day. And then this last one says, stale while revalidate. This one's a month. And so this one says, after a day, after this day is up and this thing has expired, and someone shows up the next day, right after it's expired, I don't want to slow down the request. I want you to send anything that you've already got, whatever you have. I know it's stale, but we can send it to just one more person. So that's saying send it to one more person for a month. So why a month? If this page isn't popular and nobody is going to it very often, it expires and now it's just sitting there for a day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days, 5 days, 26 days, and then someone visits it, I'm saying, hey, I'm okay serving this old document for up to a month if no one has been there. But the second anyone visits this page after it expires, what's going to happen is the CDN is going to say, okay, someone wants this page, I'm going to give them the stale version. And then in the background, the CDN is going to go and get the new version and then put it in the CDN. It's going to cache it. So if someone shows up 86,401 seconds after this gets cached, excuse me, then the CDN is going to recache it after it sends in the stale version. Or if nobody visits it after it gets stale, for 28 days, and it's not February, it's going to send in the stale one, and then it'll go get the new one after that. If it has been more than a month, and it's been stale and nobody has visited it, and then someone shows up 4 months later, we don't want to give them that old of a document. So they're going to have to wait for the CDN to go to the origin server, this one right here, and then send it back. So anyway, that's the caching strategy here. And what's really cool about this is if I've got a typo in my docs, and this is why we designed it this way, if I've got a typo in my docs, all I have to do is come over to GitHub, come into the Remix source code, come into my docs, and be like, oh, I have a typo. I'm going to edit this. Remix is cool. And then I could just save it. No deploy, no build, none of that kind of stuff. Within a day, this is going to expire. And then, what time is Jace's soccer? I'm pretty sure that it's at... Are you here? 6. So anyway, I can hit save, and then within a day, so everyone, no one's going to get the updated document until this expires. So it'll expire at least once a day. So I go fix my typos and I just forget about it. No builds, no deploys, none of that kind of stuff. Next day, everyone's going to get the new document. So if I wanted it to be faster, I could set this to like an hour. I could set this to 60 seconds and set this one to 60 seconds, and then things are going to be really fresh. But for my docs, I don't mind if it doesn't get updates for a day to the content. So that's the S might be for shared. You're right, Chance. Anyway, that's the strategy here. So here we are. I am logged into Fastly. I have created a new service. We're going to call this Remix Docs Fly IO Remix Docs Superfly Remix. Well, I still want to make sure. All right. And I put my domain in there. And then I'm going to come over here to hosts. And they want my IPv4 address. So I know how to get this. We learned that earlier today. I got to get Swig to like sponsor me or something. Okay. Fly control info. Oh, they updated this while I was eating lunch. All right, so here's my IPv4 IP address. So I'm going to drop it in there. So what the heck is a CDN? I talked about it earlier. Well, let's just do this. Oh, shoot. What am I doing for my JavaScript assets? What is my cache control here on my chunks? Oof! Oof! So we fingerprint these things. They're the content of this file we hash and put here. So we can cache this forever. So I need to redeploy this thing with better cache control. So I'm going to come into my server, express static, and I think I do this. Yeah. All right, so now, oh, did it default to true? Is that what it said? Alert disable, it defaults to true. Excellent. Yes, it's immutable. What's this default to? I don't know. We're going to say true. I'm going to say max age. And what can we do on max age? Max age in milliseconds for HTTP caching defaults to 0. Oh, by the MS module. Excellent. I'm going to say 1 year. Let's run this and make sure that it's what we want. Whoops. What? Why can't I go over to the edge? Oh. I cannot get this to be me. It's always my wife. Arrangement. I got my little sidecar here. It's down low. That's what I wanted. Didn't fix that bug yet, but I will. One day. Boom! All right, now let's check out what our cache headers are on our static assets. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, so now this tells the browser, so watch this, when I reload, here, let's look at this. Come back to everything. And notice that all of these, here, let's just reload the whole thing. Actually, I'm going to empty the whole cache and hard reload. Okay, so notice every single one of these, so we're getting 200s and they all take like 30 milliseconds. Fortunately, Remix flattens this waterfall for you, so it's not like one requires another, everything comes all at once. But still, it's taken time for all these things to download it. But now that we have that nice max age that's long on there and I hit reload, notice that these are all like gray 200s instead of dark ones. So it's saying it came from the disk cache. So it didn't even have to go and look, 1 millisecond, 0 milliseconds, super fast. We want that all the time, and we want everybody's browsers and our CDN to just cache this stuff forever, because when we change our source code, these hashes will change as well. So since we have this fingerprint on it, or this content hash, we can just cache it forever. I was poking around a few different websites that I know were built with Gatsby and Next, and they do the same thing. But a lot of the people shipping those sites, this has nothing to do with Gatsby and Next. The frameworks are doing the right thing, but a lot of people's implementation, they weren't caching this stuff either. So anyway, now we've got the proper caching directives everywhere. Let's deploy this. Added a nice little deploy script here. So I'm gonna clean, which blows away. This is the server build from Remix, and this is the browser build. It's kind of cool. It's the same app, but we run it in both places. The browser build, the server build, we actually just create one giant file. It's enormous. Well, this one's not too big because it's a small app, but then when you deploy to your Lambda or whatever, or in our case here to Fly, it's just one file plus then all these assets so that we know where to find things for the browser. And that's it for the server. And then the browser is the same app, except for what we've done is we've ripped apart, we've pulled out any of the, you can see here this doesn't have a loader in it, where, I don't think our real one has a loader either. I don't know where I'm going to find these things. Anyway, we pull out all of the server-only stuff. Sorry, I'm just chatting with you while we wait for all this to deploy. We pull out all the server-only stuff. So like here, our version route, we've got a loader right there. And this only runs on the server. So our browser build pulls all this code out so we don't send that stuff to the browser. All right, no, don't save that, don't save that. So yeah, server build goes there, browser build goes there. And this little assets file is the link between the two. Well, I tell you to hit fast forward, but this is live. Let's see if there's something else I can talk about while we wait for this. I don't know a lot about Fastly. I haven't used it a whole lot yet. I guess let's just talk a little bit about what a CDN is. I talked about it a minute ago in the stream earlier. I can do it in the notes again. Oh yeah, here we are. So normally what happens if you've got your server here, and let's say it's hosted in Los Angeles, and then let's put a American flag here. Hey, how come my emoji things won't pop up? Oh well, all right. Got our server. It's in the US. Oh shoot, we're almost done over there. And then we got our user. I wish I could get my emojis in here. I'm really bummed about this. Doing like, hey-oh, there's our user. They're super excited to go to our website. There is distance between Los Angeles and our user. Let's say they're in Salt Lake City, where I'm at. Now let's say someone is in Europe or India. Now that's super far away, and that distance actually takes time. And so a CDN stands for Content Delivery Network. And what they say is like, hey, we're going to have a network of servers that are like right here next to the user, really close. So if you will just go ahead and put some code right here, then we can give it to the user really fast when they ask for it. So what happens is the user is going to say, hey, I want to go to this website. And so then this comes over to the CDN, and the CDN is like, oh, cool, I already have that. Here you go. And then sends it right to them. And we leave this server, we call this the origin server, completely alone. But if the CDN doesn't have that document yet, when the user asks for it, the CDN is like, oh, I don't have that. So CDN is going to go over to the origin server and say, hey, I need this document. Origin server comes back. I've never done a little live ASCII art thing like this before. It's working out pretty well. CDN has it. Now it's going to cache it in here, and then it sends it to this user. So now it's got the document. So the next person who comes along and says, hey, I want that, then the CDN is going to be like, all right, here you go. And we only stay here. And so now we can make those requests really fast. So we would call that a cache hit. The CDN had the document in its cache and served it to the user. Now when our max age expires, we've got a stale document, and we told it, hey, when it's stale, go ahead and send it for the next month. What'll happen is the user asks for it, and the CDN is like, cool, I'll give it to you. It's stale. It's kind of like smelly. These are my smelly lines. And then at the same time, the CDN is like, hey, I just sent a stale document over to this person. Give me the new one. And maybe while I'm doing that, someone else shows up and is like, hey, I want this too. And then the CDN's like, yeah, I know, I'm getting a better one, but here's the old one. It still just keeps the old one. And then the CDN is like, hey, you got this yet for me? And then this thing shows up and it's like, all right, here you go, you got it. And the CDN now caches that one. Anyone else who asks for it, they're going to get the new one. That's a CDN. Kind of cool. So we just told the CDN and browsers to cache our static assets, our JavaScript, our CSS, and that stuff forever. And we also told it the HTML documents, we want to cache those for an hour in the browser and a day on the CDN. Excuse me. Okay, deployed successfully. Let's go double check that we've got what we want here. Okay, yeah, so now in production we have our proper cache headers, and then these ones are the ones that are a little more interesting so that they actually expire sometimes when we want to get a content update. Okay, so now, FYI, kids just got home from school, so you might hear some screaming and some Fortnite and all sorts of fun. Okay, so I'm done here. I set up my domain, so I'm saying here's where my website's at. And now I just set up my host. That's my actual IP address for it. And I'm just going to activate this now at Fastly. We have saved your version and it's deployed across Fastly Network. Check it out in a minute or less. Let's do this. I can solve a Rubik's Cube now. My 9-year-old taught me, or my 10-year-old taught me how. We're gonna see if this is actually gonna be deployed within a minute. Let's go here, and then we'll go here. So here's our URL. Let's go there. So this is what you get when you first start it. It's like, we're not ready yet. So what it's doing is it's sending it across this network. They're like, hey, I got stuff in LA, or no, if you're in LA, I'm putting one in the EU. I'm putting one on Eastern US. I'm putting this stuff. I don't know where else they're going to put this thing. They've got a whole big network of it. Maybe in India. Maybe they've got one in Brazil. I don't know. Brazil. Oh, nope, don't have it yet. Don't have it yet. Don't have it yet. Don't have it yet. Oh, that one was spinning a little longer. Minute 20. Minute or less, huh? So fastest I've ever solved a Rubik's Cube is 1:45. Right there. Let's see if they can deploy this across their network in that time. Oh, how's that for serendipity? Okay, what does this mean? All right, check this out. Here we go. Oh, let's get rid of the timer. Boom, solved. Yes. Oh, dang, they got a graph for me and everything. Oh, and they want me to scramble it like that. Anyway. Okay, let's check out what we got going on here. Network. Oh, I should have done it. Anyway, let's do this. So since I've already looked at this once, we're going to get a... Oh, shoot. It redirected me to... That's not what I wanted. Redirect me back to... This is my own problem in my own source code. Okay, check this out. Cache miss. So this means that this is the first time I ever came here. So I'm here, my server's in LA, and we got Fastly right here in front. And I said, hey Fastly, I want this document. And Fastly said, I don't have that document. So Fastly went off to my server in LA. My server came back and gave it to Fastly, and then Fastly gave it to me, and then Fastly cached it. So now I'm going to hit refresh. I'm going to do a hard refresh and get rid of my local cache in my browser. I'm going to ask Fastly for this, and let's watch what happens. So I'm going to do empty cache and hard reload. Did you see how fast that was? 44 milliseconds. This time, age 42. This document is 42 seconds old. And right here, we got a cache hit. And we've had one cache hit. Served from their Denver. Yeah. Oh, dang. Yeah, they're really close. So this is Fastly in Denver. So my origin is in LA, Fastly's in Denver, and me, the user, I'm in Salt Lake City. Oh, let's get this to scale. That's probably it. Probably like 6 or 7 from LA to Denver. Oh wait, no, that's farther than, whatever. I don't care anymore. I thought it was funny, but now it's not. Are the docs built on top of Remix? Yes. I don't know what your username is. Fur3foo. The docs are built with Remix. Of course they're built with Remix. We eat dog food. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So now let's goof around here. So now we're a different user. I'm going to open up an incognito window, and I'm going to go to the same URL, open up our DevTools. See how fast that was? That was awesome. And then if we come to the network tab, we're going to see that this is also a cache hit, age 127. Now if I click this, we're going to have a little bit of a delay. So you watch. Installing Remix. Spinner shows up, and then this thing, our fetch request comes in, age 0. This one's a cache miss. So here we go. Now if I switch over to my other browser, this is somebody else. This browser doesn't have it. This is someone somewhere else. And then I click on installing Remix. It's going to be super fast. Boink. No spinner. I clicked at it. It's as if it was already in my local cache. 19 milliseconds. That's crazy. And then we can see here, we got a cache hit on this one. So this user in my, my incognito window, this user primed the cache for other users. So I can like go and click on all of these, and notice how it's taken a minute to build some of these pages, especially the ones with a lot of markup in it. And now for this user, it's just like super fast. Shared everywhere. I'm gonna go check the comments. Oh, free food. Nice, that's a username. Hey, Fran. I'm done. I mean, that's it. That's all I got to do. So if I went and edited this file in my actual Remix source code, which is the source for these docs, then within an hour, these cache headers will expire on the documents or on these data fetches. This will expire, not in an hour, in a day they'll expire. And so then tomorrow, if I came back, I should see those updates on my page, which is pretty cool. I'm okay with these docs not getting updated more than once a day. I can go fix my typos, do whatever else I need to, and it'll be fine. I don't actually want to change these docs, but I added a cool little thing here where I can say latest on the end of here. And look at what my cache headers are now. Cache control, no cache. Actually, I'm just going to show you, just for fun. Let's actually change this. And we're going to say, yeah, we'll just do it for a minute. Let's Remix documentation. That's an okay change. An example during the live stream. It says on the master branch of Remix itself. That was a dumb commit. So if I come here to the root, it says Remix docs. That's the cached version. If I say latest, hey, it says Remix documentation. That's cool. So if I'm making changes and I'm like, I really want to see what it's going to look like, I can still do this, and I'm not going to have any caching. I'm going to go off to the origin server every time I put that on there. But then I can come back here, and it's just going to be the super fast one. Tomorrow, this one will be updated to this new version of my index. Yeah. So the plan, what I actually intend to do is have those updates be instant, but also still cached like crazy. So the plan here is to set up some GitHub actions on the Remix repo. Because check here, watch this. Let's go to the installing. Oops, my camera just has a timer and it doesn't like to be on for very long. All right, it's going again. So Fastly has this really cool API. Check this out. I actually can't remember it exactly. They have this Purge API. You can do it just with a curl. There we go. That's all we got to do. So watch this. This is interesting. So this file right now, I'm reloading and we're getting cache hits, right? Because it's oh, whoops, we're not on. That's not the right one. That's not the right one. Uh-oh. Maybe one of those was the right one. Let's go to installing Remix. Let's look at our network tab. And we can see the installation is a cache miss. And now it's a cache hit. Cool. So this one is cached. Actually, our index should be cached even longer. So I can come here. Oh yeah, that's what I want to do. So remember, this is the old one. My latest is the one that's got that on there, but it doesn't cache well. So back here, this one has been cached for a while. It's been cached for 42 seconds. And so I'm going to purge this. So check this out. curl-xpurge. That URL. Blink. Boom. Now watch. When I refresh this. Oh, the sun's coming in on me, kind of funny on the video, isn't it? Look at that. It's up to date. And now that's the new cache. So what we're going to do is we're not going to goof around with all of these headers and say max age 3600 for the browser, max age 86400 for the CDN, stale while revalidate. When I edit a document, I want it to update right away on the website. So what we will do is we'll probably keep this max age of an hour so that if you're just browsing these docs, all of this stuff can just be like in your browser super fast. But after an hour, it'll go back to the server. And then what we'll do is we're going to set an S max age of a year, forever. So these pages will just get cached forever. And then we'll have a GitHub action that will come here and say, okay, if you edit any of these files in docs, like this one, I'm going to make a commit here, and then we'll have a GitHub action that will run, and it'll say, okay, which file got changed in this commit, and then it'll go do a purge on those files. And then I'm going to have it actually do a request right behind it. So purge and then make a request. And now we basically have an incremental static site generator without having to do redeploys, without having to do rebuilds. We'll just use our CDN and purge these things. So kind of cool. Drowan, I hope I pronounced your name right. Gonna try to troll me, says he was gonna secretly do a purge on me. What's stopping random users from purging? Yeah, so I need to turn on auth. So I can say, hey, turn on some authentication. They probably got. Oh, actually, that's probably the best way. So you can add an include list. So we could turn on auth, is my guess, and we could send like a token with our curl, and if you don't have the token, it's not going to expire it. But what would probably be better is in Fastly, you can come over here and be like, hey, only, I don't know where you do it, but we'd be able to say somewhere on this service, like the only place that a purge request can come from is this server. And so we could say, if it comes from GitHub, or actually we'd probably end up making our own function on remix.run, right? We'd probably put a function, actually on the docs, just send it from it. Nah, that's a bad idea. Anyway, I would put it somewhere that you don't know about. And it'll be like purge. And then we could tell Fastly, hey, if the purge comes from here, you can purge it, but otherwise ignore it. So that's the plan. Yeah, cool. So now what's left for me to do is I need to wait for Michael to get back from vacation, because he's the one that actually registered the domain and has access. I don't have access to it yet. And what we need to do is point our DNS. So here's the real origin server URL. We need to point our DNS for docs.remix.run to this, and then, oh, actually no. Yes. And then we got to point the DNS to the Fastly URL, so that when people ask for our docs, they actually go to Fastly first, and then Fastly will go here. Actually, that's probably all we need. Yeah, we just need to point the DNS at Fastly. That's right. Anyway, and then I'll be done. We can enable, oh, sorry, that's a message I already saw before. Yeah, so one more thing today. Done. Put Fastly in front. Nope. I need to go and actually like add HTTPS and make this thing do a production version of it. I haven't done that in Fastly yet. I've used Cloudflare in the past. All right, I'm going to hang out for like 10 seconds, see if anyone has any final questions. But if not, I'm going to end this and probably call it a day. I'm coaching the soccer team, so got to get my soccer practice ready. All right, I guess that's it. Thanks for joining. Adios.